Well, I want to welcome everyone tonight coming out to the community area meeting. This is the third meeting of a series of four where we have done invited by the community. And so again, we welcome, we know everybody's busy and we hope to use your time wisely. And first item of business though, I've been out there, bathrooms are up. So bathrooms up. So again, welcome. My name is Valerie Kaufman. I am owner of Planning Outpost, and we are a land use consulting firm that specializes in general plan, special area plan, zoning rewrite, fee studies, and then public engagement, which is usually does a very big component of general plan update, and that's one of the things we're doing tonight. So, again, my name is Valerie, and then Larry Kaufman's here. Oh, he's managing. Okay, Larry's back. We'll see him in a minute later in the presentation. I have Brian Carter here with JUV. He's a fellow planner as well. And Chris in the back, he is our project engineer. And then, and so that's my team. And then you also have here. We have Kate here. She's at the front. Chris, Jeremy. We also have Commissioner Peterson. We're here. Any other commissioners? And then you have also.
So I'm just glad everybody has come. And so just wanted to, a couple of things. I've been to the last two and it's gotten a little entertaining at times. And so one thing that I would ask is we're moving through, kind of keep on task with Val to kind of keep this meeting. But if you have like grievances or problems, I'm happy to stay after the meeting and talk to you guys, listen to you, but just kind of to let them get home. The last couple of meetings have been kind of a late night because it kind of gets stuck in a rut in the meeting about bicycles on the roads, gravel trucks. You know, like I said, I'm more than happy to stay and spend the evening, whatever. I mean, my students won't be to class till late tomorrow morning, so I don't have to be there 7. So I'm happy to stay and talk about those kind of things. I was just trying to kind of keep on task and move forward with her presentation. We want your information, we want your data. But if there's like grievances and things like that, I'm more than happy to do that and take that to the commission, share whoever the grievance may be with and what we need to do and to move that forward. One other thing I'd like to do is we have our legislative representative TR here. She was there in Minton Green, if you're not sure, she's here with us tonight. Liz in Minton Green also has been, I've been dealing with her for work. Working with her, plus, and she's been a great asset of these issues that we've seen at the state level. Any information that I needed, she's been great to work with. And I know she cares about Matt Green and Peterson in the county and Jim to. I don't know.
Is there an echo?
I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I can, is that better if I just yell at it? Oh, the room. We can try, we'll kind of work through it. Turn it up. I'm an electrician, but this kind of stuff I don't understand. So we just wanted to give TR, did you want a minute or anything? Or just...
I guess I just wanted to say I can talk about. I'm here as a representative. I take that role very seriously. I am very approachable and responsive. So if there's anything that you need, just like Vaughn said, I am willing to talk about it and try to see what I can do at the state level. And so if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's an easy way, TR Utah, or you can go to trutah.com and you can sign up for my email list, see what I'm doing, contact me that way. Also, for anyone who's writing it down, my phone number is 80450-3701. But I put out a weekly newsletter talking about what I'm doing for the counties. I represent Rich, Morgan, and Summit counties, but I live here in Morgan County. And so I just want you to know that I'm available and here to work for you. So My background, tax accountant, also very involved in the schools, parents' rights and education is a lot of what got me interested and involved, but there's a lot of things that we're working through and looking into. So please reach out if there's any concerns or suggestions you have. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
All these.
And all the business for your county, like all the commissioners, Kay, they're up here in the front, so if you want our phone numbers, emails, all that, so Kiara's got those as well, so feel free to reach out to us. Like I said, if people have any grievances or problems, I'm happy to listen to them, take notes. And let's get on with the presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, so, a couple of things, and it does any better. Okay, all right, excellent. So I've been in the profession for over 22 years, and I started my firm because there was this need for true public engagement and creating plans that reflect what the residents want, not just something that's off the shelf. And I shared that in the meeting so that there is an understanding of, hopefully a better understanding, because there's a lot of been some skepticism, maybe some distrust with government, things that coming here, we already know what we're, we already have this preconceived notion or idea of like this is what we're doing, and that's not why because I was tired of that, and I wanted to make an impact, positive impact for communities and be a voice for that as I have that own issue in the community. So I just want to set the stage with that first before we go into the rest of the evening. The agenda that we're going to cover tonight is what a general plan is and what it is not. There's a lot of different ideas about what that is. So if we all start from the same baseline, that helps a lot. So a general plan is a long-range strategic document to guide the county's growth for 10 to 20 years. So it's a long range. It's not just something that should be changed all the time. It's the playbook that the county can say, hey, this is how we want to develop in the future, and puts on notice and developers, other stakeholders of what the county wants and what they allow the application thing come forward for decision makers to have a policy document. It's to be comprehensive, it's policy driven, public driven, and policy based. What it does is it coordinates development. It qualifies for grants and funding. That's big one. When counties go after funding, a lot of times they have to know that embedded into a public process. That is data that's putting in for the application just to go, oh, yeah. The general plan allows that kind of documentation to go after funding. A general plan also preserves identity. And being able to help preserve heritage and different things that happen as growth and development is inevitable as Utah is a growing state. And then the last is proactive. I mean, general plan, planners love proactive planning, but the reality that we live in is very reactive. This is one of the reasons I really do enjoy long range planning, is because we're able to be proactive things versus just responding. The planning process has a very specific methodology. This project brings with the project initiation, an existing conditions analysis, engagement, which is what we are doing here this week and into next, and then throughout the entire process. Then what comes from this first portion is the vision and guiding principles. Then the land use growth and framework. Policies are drafted and a final plan is created. The main framework question for the general plan: what kind of community do we want to be, and how do we get there? Again, in this context, community meeting or county. What it is not. It is not the same as law. It is not the same as the zoning ordinance. Sometimes that gets confusing for people, but the general plan of a land use map exhibit applications. So there's going to be patterns of development and types of development. It's not the actual zoning. It doesn't have entitlement rights to it. And so that is not part, that's a separate thing. The general plan is not just the land use map, but that is one of the most important pieces of it that people tend to refer to the most. We wouldn't just create the land use map without all the context around it of other priorities that the county identifies, whether that be some have like historic preservation, some have recreation, some there's the priorities start to come out on what's important. And then you can't forget what the state law also requires. So those in the general plan. The last thing is general plan is not a guarantee for a rezoning or sometimes that has perception as well. But what it can do is create the environment in which you will attract what you are wanting. So even if you can't guarantee that Trader Joe's or whatever that ideal business might be, you can still have a plan that is attracting what you are wanting versus just letting it up to chance. So we were retained as the county's consultant late summer, first of the fall. And our objective and our job here is to create a general plan update in the context of a robust public engagement plan. That the community plans will either be created and updated so it's a single cohesive and actionable document instead of all these different pieces and they're all kind of done differently. That this was the charge was create one document or one county or one big community, these sub areas. Then the adoption of a general plan that has Utah code requirements. Obviously, it's important to get that. And then having the recommendations and the implementation. In no particular order on the slide, I just am going to outline the public engagement plan as you guys are all part of this right now. The first is legal requirement that there has to be a public hearing. So that will be part of the plan in a year and a little bit. Hearing, and there'll be some associated work sessions with that. Then we have the project website that you can go to 24/7. And the county's website has a link in the lower left-hand side. And you go to it, to the county website, it'll take you to the morgancounty.planetusa.com, which is the project website. And that will have, it will change throughout the life of the project with different things to it. So like right now, there's a survey that is active that you can go to that. These meetings are being advertised. It's the repository of all things to do with the project. So as you go back through, you'll be able to look up, like we posting this presentation after our last meeting on Monday, this coming Monday. So you'll have the presentation. We'll probably post these worksheets and things for those who aren't able to attend. So the project website will be the hub of a lot of information. And there's the specialists. There's myself that you'll be able to contact if there's additional questions that aren't answered. Then we have small group meetings. They'll be virtual. That will be held with, as defined by what the commission wants, of additional interested parties in terms of like the trail board. I'm trying to think of the transportation, like those things that that are part of the community that don't get picked up here in the resident. Residents are the biggest stakeholders. They're the ones that have a lot of voice and then and importance, but they also have the opportunities of a couple of virtual meetings that these additional stakeholders can attend from these other county commission or other county committees. Okay, and then there's a survey live through November 24th. And then last but not least, the writing workshops, open houses, and events. We had a kickoff meeting October 1st with the county commission and the planning commission. And then we are, like I mentioned, in the third community meeting tonight. And so that's where we're at in the public engagement plan. And then in the spring, we'll have the land use priorities open houses, and that will be a come to go. and be held 3 different evenings. So whatever night works best, you'll be able to stop by, draw on the map, scribble, do that, exercise at that point in the plan, then. And then the final rounds are before the public hearings are being held, to be able to kick off the comment review period of the final draft. So that's what that looks like. Right now, so it's kind of a long process. It'll be about a year. And right now we're working through the existing conditions and initial analysis of the phase we're in. And then, we'll start drafting the plan as we start gathering this feedback. The state code has a requirement for water element, and it is to be adopted by December 2025. So Brian and Chris have done miracles on behalf of this project, and they have we have a water element that will be going to planning commission next week so that we can meet that deadline. And so we're going to be adopting that chapter as an amendment to the existing plan, and then we'll be able to bring it back out and then include it in this new plan once that whole thing is adopted. So that is our priority. You'll see that on the project website that there is chance to do a feedback, particularly the water providers and suppliers. We have to demonstrate like, hey, we reached out and we're having opportunities for feedback, but that doesn't mean that anybody else knows stuff about that to also participate and fill out that feedback from. All right, we are, yes, questions. Okay.
On, going to be updated and have we need to know, like, what the water.
That is a great question. Yeah, as the plan goes on, are we going to be notified of the different sections or the different parts of them? So the water special, we're trying to get it done by December. So that one gets a call out. But what you'll have is in the spring, we'll have another round of these meetings as the land use starts to get defined, and then you'll be participating in that piece as well. Yes, so you'll have a piece there and it's getting early on and kind of more middle. And then you'll have another round of meetings that's getting more finalized, and then the review comment period.
And then we that we could say, you might hear, like, this is our.
Correct. Yeah, that's where you would then be able to, and it's always better, right? Right. So, yeah, so either through the mechanisms of the meetings themselves, or even going online and filling out feedback on that once it's posted. Yes.
I like on the formal, well, that these stakeholders understanding the other meeting, the plan, or about it. Who's the ultimate?
Great question. So with that, who is the ultimate approving authority of the plan? So by state law, it's required to go to a planning commission public hearing. And then they make recommendation to the county commission. And then the county commission ultimately is the one to approve or deny. All right.
So can you, I guess my question is with the commission, they have time to. So could we talk to if they're doing that?
So she asked if the commission has a final say, we talk to, they're not saying what, that they're not doing what we want them to, or that we don't like what they're doing. So then that would be, by that point, you would be talking to your commissioners. Yeah, during like that review comment period, you would know substantially what is in the plan. If it's agreeable. So there's that time even before the public hearings. Because by the time, okay, and I've been doing this for decades now, by the time it gets public hearing, it's relative. So that's why we have a year of events, a year of, and you can sign up, well, if you sign up in here and you chart mark the yes for the distribution, like the email, you'll be on that. So you'll also get updates that way. Or project website, even on the bottom, I can sign that. And so that's a way of communication we're gonna be able to push out. Yeah. So she asked things backwards because there's a lot going on in Mountain Green right now. And so why now? It doesn't feel like things, okay, it doesn't feel like it's help control things because things are already out of control. This is where the reactive planning comes into play, right? Like, this is where jurisdictions have to grapple with what they have on the books for the laws versus entitlement and all that. So I don't have a really good answer for you in terms of like feeling that way. My hope is that through this process, the community vision or and particularly like each area, whether it's go Mountain Green can then say, this is what we envision. And while you might can't change everything, right? Like if there's already zoning in place, you might not be able to change that. You can, you can make a plan that then enables the county to make changes to say, you know what? This is our general plan. We need to change these pieces of our zoning ordinance because that zoning ordinance isn't implementing or supporting what the plan says. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, it's in every jurisdiction, in any growing situation, it's always, there's things that the jurisdiction just can't foresee. They just can't. And so it becomes reactive and it's also, I mean, I could really, it's called incremental planning too, where it's done by increment. And so it's unfortunately the reality of development in jurisdictions is there's just a lot of reactive because these applications come in and they meet the code, and then there's deficiencies identified in the code. So. So he's saying we're reactive because the transportation is so much stuff. So, yeah. He said, I need to build up everything, but then you can't get around. So, yeah. And so it's hopefully, again, that this is an opportunity to be able to have a vision of what you want for here on out. And again, the framework established so you can make changes to the laws in essence. So, you and then you. You go over the water. So we make a decision on what someone. Can you talk to me about water? So the water element is a state required chapter of a general plan that in essence says that, so the state has these requirements for conservation. And the gist of it is that the county is acknowledging that there are these conservation efforts and they're willing to get in line. Right, kind of that's, and so it's an assessment of identifying what the water rights are in the county and matching it up to development, right? That is a small piece of it. And then the majority of the conservation efforts are in line. Now, if we're gonna do like an infrastructure that more delves into that piece, this is conservation. Great question.
So is there currently a plan in place? Are we developing in accordance with that plan in Mountain Green? And where can we see that plan?
That is a great question. And that was a little bit like, hey, remind me, there is a plan in place. There is a plan in place. There's one, the overall county plan in 2014. And then there was a area plan adopted, what Mountain Green's adopted. December of last year.
Area plan for this one.
So, and one of the things that's gonna be unique to the Mountain Ring Peterson, that is making sure that it's accurate, making sure it's reflecting what the residents really want. Because that's gonna just be part of this, so that we can incorporate what is working from there. I could not answer, and I'm sorry, for the these questions. This question was, we have a business plan, and then are we developing it in accordance with that? Okay,
We've been sticking with the plan.
No, I think.
yeah, I have an answer for that. I mean, it could be, I will find out. If you don't have the punches, like your specific area plan is actually quite urban. It's a very urban, it's a beautiful plan, but it's a very urban focus to it. So, and I don't know if that, yeah, it is part of the plan. I love the consultants thing, I know that.
Hi, I'm Kate Becker, County Administrative Manager. I just want to, that even though your area plan that you guys just did passed to December of last year, it passed as a part of, as an addendum to a plan that was never adopted. So where the commission agreed to your area plan, and we're going to use that in the incorporation. That plan is not active. Because the whole point of doing this is they did a county plan, and then everything in the areas. That's exhibit A, B, C, instead of being chapters 1, 2, 3. You were a side note to the county plan instead of being the county plan. So that's what we're doing now. We are incorporating all of that, surveys and everything, all that work that you did into the plan, but that plan is technically not. That clear political money.
Yeah.
Concern with this. 2 years of jargon. We're gonna plan, when we already got having construction going on right now. Potential, Chinese, all these stuff, but. Talk about it in the local land and so they're getting this, that's 2 years from now, I mean, it's like, how do you, already got, to, like. Stuff already that you don't like, you can't go back and trace it, you can't go back and propose. If the plan is one for them to make years to try to, so. I'm moving forward with it. People already don't like it happening.
So Jonathan said that it feels like it's gonna be too late. There's already so much development that we're unhappy with, that how now taking another couple of years gonna fix it. And the best word that I have to use a lot is like how to mitigate it from here on. How to mitigate those concerns. How do you, and that's what's even more important, the coordination is making sure that you have all the right people at the table that are saying, okay, this is happening. Let's get some, so for instance, like high growth areas, you have a mechanism called like an adequate policy. Maybe that's something that the county is like, you know what, we really need to adopt that, which then requires like currency with water and, transportation, right? If there's projects that are coming in and maybe they really needed a traffic study and they didn't get traffic study, right? But there's nothing on the county books, they can't require it. So this is the means to get to a better future than just letting it build like, yeah, having it run amok. Great question.
My experience is when you get to the county level, I'm finding more deaf ears,
You find more what?
deaf ears.
Oh, well, yeah, that's ironic. You better when you go to the county, you find that. And that's the frustration in terms of having these opinions or having these frustrations and then it not going right, not being perfect.
Yeah. My suggestion. Just ignore it.
Then you have to ignore it. Yeah, then,
That's why I'm not agreeing with such a mess.
Did you also say that this, big plan is not binding?
so it's a policy document, it's not the law. So that's cross country, that's how general plans work, it's a policy so that the decision makers can guide their decision to say, oh, okay. Because when they do something that's contrary to general plan, they know they're doing something that's contrary to what the residents' wishes are.
And you have 5 commissioners or 7 commissioners, and maybe one of them is from one area. That's where some of the mess is, because the opinion of not agreeing doesn't have a big enough influence under county commission.
So the gentleman said with the county commission makeup, there's only like one that would be from Mountain Green, and that has probably contributed to some of the issues of the development, of undesired development. And then there's 2 at large.
Like you want Marcus County or this, and like what are the lines for both the big.
Great question. She asked if the commission, as they hired us to say, okay, this is what we want, and what does that look like? My kickoff meeting was, we want public engagement. We want banners, we want mailers, and we want to hear. So there was no specific direction.
Like, they want it to be a city, they want it to be, they want it, so we need.
We're discovering that together, because they did not give us any kind of checklist of like, better look like this. There was go to the. Well, we're here tonight to gather the input from the residents to inform the commissioners. So there isn't any.
So unlike, like building a house where you have set plans and you know what the house is going to look like at the end. The general plan process with the way that it has been adopted and the guidelines that we've gotten so far from the commission has really been, we need a plan that of course meets the state requirements. And then it is, we need to hear from people, which is why we're out here, you know, the third week, before any real decisions or anything like that happen. We're gathering that information now. Tonight, we'll, just a few minutes, we'll be working on visions and values of our community. That information will then be taken and then taken to the next step. We are hearing from residents, these are the priorities, these are what we have worked in the past, these are what we want to see work in the future, and this is what has. And then that's, it's built. It gets used to build that next step. So it's kind of like building a house where you don't really need basement because you're going to live. But you haven't figured out the apartment yet. You haven't figured out that you're going to be a what's. But you know you need to be building units. And you're like you're building it yourself. You're living on one level at a time. Does that help?
Agree, and then, yep. Okay, so the plans that are you the area plans that you're.
So it seems like we. These are.
Okay, so he's saying that there are plans in the community area plan in play. Are they really being used and can they be used to make those decisions that are coming forward until another one is established? Best practices would be that they could and should be being used if they're still reflecting, right? If they're reflecting the residents' wishes and values. And so, yes, nothing would stop that from happening. And then I sure as heck hope that you use the general plan that we're gonna have at the end of this. Yeah, can serve for a long time. Great question.
See, is ordering lots of these, ordering lots, having lots of ordering lots. They are.
So she's saying that the current plan, this is the South area plan, shows the quarter-acre lots up against Wasatch Peaks. And the higher density and all like in the. I did my homework. I told you it was very urban. That's why I need to know what.
You don't want that. If you don't want.
Okay, if you did not hear me, she just said, make sure that you, I repeated the first part, but was make sure you fill out the information in the packet and in these opportunities for the feedback, because that is the only way we as the consultants can create the plan that reflects the desires of the community. And now the community decide what density looks like in high density. Now, I don't top my head, I just knew there was some urban pieces in it that was not matching up with what I was hearing, and it's not the first time that has happened in my plans being adopted that. You can come. Yes. Yes, yeah, they have, you can get copies of the plan to read what's there. And, like I said, we're working on validating and bringing those pieces forward that makes sense.
The only thing I wanted to add is your question where you said like it's already a done deal. So being too reactive, there's kind of two steps to every process, and specifically the Mountain Green Town Center. That was a big struggle because you have not incorporated. And so you're letting people, as we said, one, that's a Mountain Green, decide what you look like in the future. And they have no choice but to do that because you have not incorporated. With that being said, there were 3 developers that created that town center. Given town center designation, yes. What is their development agreement through? And that DA is what constitutes what actually gets built. But because they can't play in the same sandbox, they're not really got it. Until that development agreement is passed and approved by the commission, what that town center looks like is not done. Right now, it's saying that all that we do is 33% commercial. We can barely sustain one coffee shop and one person. It's unsustainable to have 33% of that property. And I don't want to see personally, not as a county manager, but I don't want to see a whole bunch of storage just to make up 33%. So you still have, as the public and the commission, still have in that development agreement the power to say, instead of 33% of commercial, we want 33% to 33% to be a park. We want 33% to 33% to be trails. We want 33% and 33% to be commercial. That development agreement is what seals the deal. They get the designation, but until we approve the development agreement of what they get to develop in their density, they can't build a thing. So it's not done here. Please don't get on. Please don't fight that back. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, this is our planning commission chair.
Great. And all of these meetings are on our website. And I have a page after to show you how to get signed up. When there's something that you guys are interested in, you can show up and talk with us. Because I think if we don't hear from you, and you guys aren't showing up to meetings, it's really hard to say this is reactive. We host things publicly and we ask for public comment. We don't get rooms like this in Mountain Green. So I asked someone who lives in Mountain Green on the planning commission, and a lot of other some people here, please keep showing up. Please keep being engaged. I think we try really hard to listen and deliver conversations and listen to the area plan and the general plan. General plan's from 2010, I think. 2010. So it's 15 years old. But like, please keep showing up.
It's hard to convert.
Is it hard to incorporate? It's not cheap.
Trying to watch.
So the last attempt was, we do that feasibility study. Last one was 2022. Video copy of it. It showed it was not feasible. Think of what Mountain Green looked like in 2022. You had very little commercial. You had you didn't have the 5 million roam range townhouses. It might be that now, all of that in the grocery store, it would become feasible to incorporate. Honestly, it would take a lot of work. And you would get to decide if you are going to go.
See, appreciate or.
Doesn't matter. The question is, does the development agreement need to proceed incorporation? Precede. Depends when it gets in. The designation for town center and everything that comes with that. Regardless if you incorporate, they get to keep that density and that commercial percentage. If you incorporate, we get the development agreement signed, they're signing the development agreement with the incorporation for the county. So it's 6.
So, how do we use,
How can you influence it? That's 50%. Everything that has to do with development agreement is either in a work session, it's through the county attorney, through the planning and zoning, through the planning commission, and I have to be at all of these meetings. I have no life. Okay? And do you know who was in my meetings? Tina Kelly, Debbie Sessions, with a fan that I bought them. I have a private chair in the back of the room because they show up to every single meeting. They are the only ones, except for the developers, that are there to. If you guys showed up for a DA, I guarantee you, somebody's gonna listen, because we don't want to be there till 10 o'clock at night. Okay, but we don't get this. We zero get it in planning commission unless it's the nation. And we 1000% don't get it in commission. Not saying that Tina and Debbie don't do you absolute justice. They quote the history of why things were done that way. They repeat the public comment that was made in planning commission. They are your top advocates, but they're two ladies. They need everybody. So that's why that public opinion is. The meetings, commission meetings are every other week on a Thursday. Commission meetings are every other on a Tuesday. First and third for commission, second and fourth, and it's on the county calendar. But if you grab my business card, also get you signed up on the notice site. Or you just notice as you, hey, the agenda was posted, so you can see what's on there and go, yeah, that's something that affects me, and I would like to. We also take, if you're unable to make commissioner comment or a public meeting, we allow I just need to know 24 hours in advance because our tech sucks. And if you can't make it virtual or to the meeting, if you send me an email and request to be read into record, I read it out online in the commission meeting. So watch the language. Okay. Yes. Sorry, I'm deaf. I have got Army years.
Information about the general plan.
Yeah. That we have our, I'm turning over to Larry Peterson to do we get it going.
All right, so this is where this meeting changes a little bit, and it always surprises everybody. Because frankly, when you come to a county or city meeting, you expect to sit there and just hear people talk all the time to you, instead of getting information from them. So everyone should have a 3-page packet. If you don't, raise your hand so we can get it to you. If you need a pen, we'll bring that to you as well. We've got some in the back that need some. Also, what we're doing, if you haven't signed in, there's 2 reports going around. If you haven't signed in yet, we would love to do that. You can also opt in for notifications from Planning Outpost about this project. So if you haven't signed in yet, call her, we can get you the clipboards and get you signed in. Now, this part of this meeting is the visions and values portion. That's the groundwork. So that we can then take the next step forward in developing the next acts. The bringing small groups together, the asking the commission for more information, going and getting studies and being able to get all that stuff. But we need to know what you are thinking about your community, both Mountain Green specific and also the county as a whole. So first thing to remember, this is a little, I get it because you live in Mountain Green, that's your community. But we're also looking at the county as a whole, so that we can make that plan work throughout the entire county to be able to give that baseline, to give the direction to the elected officials. These plans, the developers really do look at least the good ones, because they come in with something that will go. They don't want all the fighting. They don't want the neighbors to be mad. They really don't. And so the good developers come in and take a look at that and say, this meets what they are looking for. And part of that is the values, vision, look and the feel, why you like this. So we're going to do that. We've got a big group here, which is fantastic, awesome, and you get lots of really good information. First page has 2 questions for you. The very first one is describe a moment. And yes, this is touchy feely, this is talking from the heart. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Describe a moment when you felt most connected to your community. Now, when you're write something down that is pertinent to that group and you in your neighborhood. But if you also have another, what made you feel part of the community and is a county-wide thing, or something outside of your neighborhood, we want to hear that too. So start writing, get to know your neighbors, because this is a great time to talk to each other, especially if you've got something really cool or you can't think of anything at all. Talk to your neighbors. We want to hear about it. We want you to be interactive on that page. So that's the first question. The second question we have is identify the qualities of the county. Now, this is county that are missing, that should be restored, preserved, or created. So we're looking for something that's missing that maybe it was around in the past, or something that we've never seen here within the county that we want to see in the future, so that we can start building that. Because this plan is truly a narrative of what you want your community to be. So we're going to take a few minutes. We want you talking, and if you have something really cool you want to share, we want to hear that too. So give you about it. Take about 7 minutes on that one. Yes, sir. So you do not have to come up with it right now. Great question. If you want to just fill this out and provide it at home, you can take a picture of it with your cell phone and send it to us to our website. We've got the email address there. If you want it, it's morgan@fileoutpost.com. We'll make that available for you. You can take a picture, you can even write us an email. Yes, sir.
Review what information has got this from all of it, so that we can see what
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, we bring this all together. If you've got your name on there, so it's very, personally identifiable, that's like, oh, we know that came from John. We take all that. And we add, see, so you can see what's. Absolutely. Oh, great news here. Let's have our introductions done.
Hey, everyone, I'm your representative from Mountain Green on the commission, Rainy Walker. And thank you for being here. It's wonderful. This area plan is super important to have all of your input, your feelings, like things you grew up with, things you remember. We want to preserve our area of Mountain Green and our Morgan County as it grows. I know the commission was the developers of park lady, because I'm always saying, where's the park? Where's the park? Where's the open space? Don't like all of those. We got condominiums. No more condos, right? So share with us all your great ideas, because all your great minds are going to help our community become what we want it to be. So, and please reach out to me anytime. I'm here to help. I'm here to take your ideas to the commission and to the developers. I'm here to represent you.
you are the only commissioner.
I am Mountain Green's only commissioner right now. So that's something that you can look at, right? There are two at-large people, but I'm the only one that lives in Mountain Green.
All right, so let's get back to these first two questions. I started hearing people chatter with each other. And like I said, I'm gonna walk around a little bit. We would like to hear what you're thinking, because that's for other people's ideas. So anybody have anything so far that, I know you've been working on this while we've been talking. So anybody have anything they want to share? Yes, in the back. For the which developments? So if it is underway, it has to follow the laws and have the ordinance that is currently set. So if it's in, but it is what the able is that. Oh, you want to? So. That is a great question. What I would suggest is that is very specific from where we're with the development we're currently doing now. Perfect. There are commissioners that are here for that need that input, so that as that continues on, they can get that information. I would recommend. So that we can continue on with this exercise and be able to do that. Thank you. Any other questions, any other thoughts about the first two questions on this activity? Good. Yes, sir. We do not. That would be a great question. Specific commissioners or the. Okay. So while you're working on that, we'll also give you something else to think about. The second page is a SWOT classifier. Has anybody heard of a SWOT? I think most of us probably have. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But we also have it in there. Because this is something that's very important to the county. And that's resilience. So as we're looking at this plot, we're looking also at resilience. And so the we have in this is what helps our community bounce back or adapt when things go wrong or when we're faced with new challenges we didn't expect. So in your community, what is that allows you to bounce back? Now, the SWOT is specifically about your area, about the Mountain Green, Peterson area. But we're also thinking, I want you to also be thinking about the county. And we have county-wide SWOT in the back with sticky notes available that you'll be able to add to that. So back to resilience. In strengths, we're looking for what do we already have in our community that is working well and makes us proud. That one hopefully is an easy one. Yeah, there's lots. We've been hearing great things about neighbors helping neighbors. We've been hearing things about the parades and community gatherings and barbecues and all kinds of great stuff. So what makes you weaknesses are things that are inside our community that aren't working as well as they should, or that are holding us back from getting to where we want to go. And so we thinking about some weaknesses, things that are holding you back from getting to where you want to go as a community. Opportunities include good things that could be taken advantage of and brought to you. So if there's something that's in a neighboring community that works really well, it's like, yeah, that's an opportunity that the commission could use to be able to go out and find that they would bring it in. And then threats are what challenges are out or outside pressure, but hurt our community in the future. And I think we can come up with those a lot. Some things that we've already heard that feel free to write these down as well as developers. That's what we've heard before. But also, if we're a good track record, we can get an opportunity there to bring something in that we can be proud of, that can turn from an opportunity over into a strength. So take some time, please. Write this up, and if you think of something after this, email us, let us know. And we are trying to collect as many of these tonight as we can. All right, so we're going to go with that, work on that for a few minutes. We'll go until about 7 after the hour. You guys are fabulous. Okay, I have to say, this is the biggest group we've had so far. They're been quiet. It's making me a little nervous. It kind of feels like we're administering the SAT. Yes, sir. Whatever.
This is kind of making my eyes think.
Yeah. So we want whatever is coming out of your head right now. Fits in with that question. First things are good because the ordinance or which is very, very general plans get to describe what people really care about. And part of that is that feeling of that which is so unusual when you're talking government agencies. You know, we've all gone to the DMV, they really care that you feel good about the experience of getting. Probably not as much as we pay those individuals that really want to make it, but the whole is just do the eye test, do the driving test, here. The general plan, on the other hand, is that it's bigger than a brochure. They use that word anyway. That brochure that says this community, this is why we love it, and this is what you really should like to do and make it work. Does that make sense? We would love it down because we can talk all day long. Or we never. So that's why. And so, yes, please, write it down. Anybody have anything they would like to share on the SWOTs? Or resilience? We had lots of really great conversation last night on how resilient our communities are. Anybody have anything you'd like to share? Okay. I've got a big block in front behind the screen. We have about 3 minutes before I move on, but you have as much time as you need or want. And yes, the evidence is really truly the field good stuff. We have a volunteer, okay?
My name is Peterson, and just I lived in the area here almost 10 years. Okay. Okay. Well, I love the community and that it's safe and beautiful. I think safety is one of my favorites. I do think that we're up against community building, technology. Anyway, I feel like people tend to be really isolated in their own satellite existence. And then they cross paths with their neighbors every once in a while. And I feel like social graces are something that tends to correlate with age and involvement in technology and everything opposite. Anyway, and I don't know that community planning can offset any of that. But I do love the idea of connected trails with some amount of a standard of both kept up, right? That they're maintained, that they're clear, that they're safe. And that people who use them like bring their animals, take care of what their animals leave behind. Anyway, just a level of shared responsibility, right? And then that's something that I have that's great for resilience. And then also like having a memory and a vision for what's possible. And then like knowing that you can make a difference and that you're invited to make that difference. I think is also something that builds a lot of resilience. And I think for me personally, I am obsessed with learning. So I would love to see a community library, a place where gathering happens regularly, where arts are emphasized, where people with youngsters can come in for story hours and to find their community before they and for even while they're in school. Anyway, there's so many different programs. I would love the more resources for trails and opportunities for community gathering outside of the church.
You. All right, so now unless there's anybody else want to share before we move on to the last page? Next. Sir.
I'll share my third. I would like the community center. Someplace we can be, probably have basketball, or maybe even a swimming pool to have. Let's lead through the park to get there. One time, there's a number of big subdivisions that originally clubhouse. I guess those weren't economically feasible. So this would be it for everyone.
Thank you. That is a great idea. Awesome. Okay, so the last page, after we create, you get to be a news reporter. Okay, now we still have headlines. When I think of a headline, I think about a newspaper. But we have headlines on social media, we have them on the web, we have them text messaging, so headlines still exist, even though the neighbors seem to be going farther. So I want you to create a headline of what describes your community in 20 or more years. So think about your prosperity, the people that are coming on after you. Describe it in a headline. What you think that community should be for them. This takes us to where we're going to go. And remembering that the general plan lasted 10 plus years. And so this is very important information to get so that we can keep that plan as relevant as possible without having to do a major overhaul. Tweaking is good, but having to review the whole thing every couple of years is just non-existent. And then the last part of this, your headline, is I like it, I wish. What do you like most about Marshall County and your community? What do you like the most? And then what do you wish for the future of Marshall County? It relates to the plan. So, again, your ideas. This is not going to be the only time we ask for these things, so it's okay if you don't have. We'll take a couple of minutes. I think most people have already worked ahead because I talked slow. And then we'll talk about the next steps and what you can expect coming in. Does anybody have any questions about the activities or want to share any questions, comments?
Deadline, my favorite.
Yeah, any good headlines? The local high school wins the state championship. That happens. Morgan County designated best place to live and all that.
No.
No, you want to keep it a secret?
Yes, you want to keep it not a secret. No.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So Valerie's going to talk to us about the next steps. As we wrap up, feel free to leave pens and the documents right at this table. We will come back by and collect them. You don't need to, we're not going to have you pass them all forward or anything like that. Just leave them where they're at. We'll collect those. And she'll take you through the last steps that we have. And then we're going to go.
Thank you for your time again this evening. We really appreciate it. The next steps, as mentioned previously, there is a resident questionnaire available on the project website through November 24th. We have the water use and preservation element that is scheduled for public hearing next week, November 13th, and then the county commission meeting December 2nd. And then the future resident meetings tentatively scheduled for the end of April. 3 meetings, open house style. So that's for you, come and go, kind of the situation. So, and then we have just the maps up here. If there's anything that like is more location specific than something that you would not have to paper, feel free to pick up a Sharpie and draw all over that. We'd love to know what you love, what you don't like, anything like that. That's what the maps are there for. And then during the open houses, that's really where you get down to the more of the map specific and drawing it. But this is the introduction to that. So please feel free to go over there. And then this SWOT is the countywide SWOT. There's things that have been more surrounding the county, not just the neighborhood and the sub areas here. I was also back there. So that is, I think that wraps it up. And again, we appreciate you guys' participation and